What's up? It's your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. You guys are probably wondering what's took me so long to talk about Jason Kidd being fired. Because I wanted to make sure I had everything right before I made the video. And here's why Jason Kidd was fired. But first, let's go to why Jason Kidd was hired. Jason Kidd was hired there because he was great with working with players. He was a player's coach. He definitely was not management and upper management. He's definitely not fit for that. He's a ball player who reached the point where he couldn't play anymore, but he knows the game. So, and Jason Kidd's whole perspective when he was there was to right the wrongs and turn the Milwaukee Bucks into a contender, not just a team that could win a couple of games, which they did. He did just that. He identified the problem that they had. Most of the players that they had on the team at the time were basically okay or used to the idea of losing. He brought in players that were longer, more athletic, who could move, and he developed them. Something that a lot of these other coaches can't do. They can coach what they have on the court, but they don't know how to develop talent. And that was one of his greatest, strongest attributes is Jason Kidd knows how to work with a player and make them better. Brogdon, rookie of the year. Uh, Greek the Freak. We look at the turnaround he's done since he's been in the league. He's only getting better. Middleton, all of these guys, he got them playing better than any other place. If they were at any other place, they would not have progressed as fast as they did under Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was fired due to the fact that he didn't listen to management. Management told him earlier this season, like, we want to, this is the season we should be making a push, for the playoffs, high, like top five seed. Definitely should be contending with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the East, at least in that category. There was no reason for them to not be. The management felt because they're getting to the point where they're not going to be able to keep the majority of these players. So we should be at a point where we got to start pushing now. And that's going to bring in more revenue. The more we win, the more people are going to come out. So you have an MVP candidate on the team. You got rookie of the year. But this season, it really wasn't clicking. It would click one game and then wouldn't click at all. Kid was using Henson, Greek the Freak, and Monroe on the court at the same time. He's even had Henson, Maker, Greek, and Monroe out there at the same time. He has the most craziest lineups you have ever seen to try to make something work. But I know what he's doing. He's teaching, but at the expense of ownership. And what they want to see now is results. This is like year 4. They're ready to go to the next level. But defensively is why he was fired. Defensively, they're just giving up way too many points and not scoring nearly enough. And they're losing games that they're supposed to be winning. And this trend started after his first season. They jumped up. Their defensive rating was so high. And they played this system that he likes to do. Trap the guy, force the ball out, the next defender rotate over. They they played that defense and was ranked very high that year. They had a lot of athletic players making all of these moves and shifting over and doing all these great things. Then something happened. Other teams figured out what Milwaukee likes to do. And with Milwaukee Bucks not having a real three-point shooting threat on the team, Middleton is the only guy they really trust out there firing up shots. Brogdon can do it from time to time, but they're not a team that's modernized like the rest of these other teams where they live in behind the arc. The majority of their points are going to come from in the paint, slash into the basket, or moving the ball, hitting the guys coming down the lane. And it's so hard to get that type of basketball going when your personnel don't know all of the intricacies of the movement. Because when you're moving the ball, it takes 5 players, especially when you're moving it from left to right before you shoot. Now, what Greek is doing is in transition, Milwaukee's great because you can't stop Greek. It's hard to stop these guys. Now, ownership listened to Kid and they made a move and brought in Bledsoe and got rid of Moreau to help them get small because they finally waited too late to say, you got too many bigs out there. We need to start getting small and have somebody with leadership. And Brogdon wasn't getting it done in his second season. He had digressed in this role because teams are paying a little bit more attention to him now that he won Rookie of the Year. So now the focus shifted more to him to carry the weight and hit some of these shots, and he couldn't do it. He's looking like a second-year player who's now things are settling down, and he's got to find his way because teams are focused to take him out the game too and force someone else to be a star like Middleton. Kid, who's very big on post play, love his big guys to go in, post up, and try to make moves like Henson. Get them in the paint, let them work in the paint, and go up with shots. They play traditional basketball. But in today's basketball, where things are fast or in transition, that takes a lot of time to develop. And Henson is not that great of a player. Kid is teaching at a time where they're supposed to be flourishing. Now, here comes problem number 3, or problem whatever. Kid doesn't know how to talk to people. And when I mean people, I mean management. They need to know, one, they are your superiors. Kid don't treat them like they're his superiors. He's been condescending to their faces. He's talked to them very rudely at times because he's passionate and that's how he is. But his substitutions, his lineups have been the craziest thing I have witnessed watching the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm like, Kid does not know how to sub because I guess he's teaching, but it's like you want to teach, you do it in practice. People want to win. And when that happens, a change got to be made. They think they need someone there who's more offensive minded, who could turn a team around. I mean, I haven't heard any names, but I could throw a couple out there that would fit this system. A lot of people said Mark Jackson. I think Earl Watson would fit more here. Earl, who has coached Bledsoe before, would probably play. I mean, would coach for the same minimum. He, the type of system he run in Phoenix was like basically go ahead and chuck up a shot. Everybody shoots some threes. So they would love that in Milwaukee. But this was an abrupt firing. but they wanted to do it before the All-Star break. They did not want to go into the second half of the season with Kidd. It has gotten to that point, so they want to try to salvage the rest of this season. Kidd was a person that wasn't going to take into consideration what the owners wanted to do as far as basketball play. He felt that's my job. So when the GM and the head coach are not getting along, somebody's going to be moved. Somebody's got to be removed. So do I think it was time for Kidd to be fired? Absolutely. I've said it plenty of times. I'm like, he's got to go. It's past his time. He'll be a great personnel coach, like player development coach. That's where he needs to be. Head coach, no. Player development, absolutely. He will get the maximum out of a player and improve them from their rookie year on. If they work with Kidd, he will have them playing outstanding. He could polish a player really well. And this is the reason why he was fired, So I'm out. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and thank you very much.